Hello and welcome back to the League One Roundup. Of course, it's Monday night, which means one thing. We are reviewing every game here on the CODS Vlogs channel. Again, it's been a big season that came to an end. Thankfully for some clubs, unfortunate for some, and it ended in delight for some at the top end of League One, ended in promotion and securing a playoff spot. There'll be some fans in here gutted today that might not even show the face, and there'll be some absolutely buzzing to have either secured safety, either the playoffs or the top two. But we can't do it alone. He's a deck to my aunt. He's a laurel to my Hardy. He's a fish to me chips. And, we've got to have him. How are we, Josh? Jake, sorry.
Well, Dave, it's been Ben. Look, it's been a bit of a weird week for me personally. I'm sure we'll get on to what happened, but no, mate, good to round the season off with a win. I think I called you about, what was it, maybe 3 o'clock, completely hammered, and you were hammered as well. We just started saying the CODs are staying up, so that's a nice one for all the Bolton fans that had a go at us on Twitter this week.
No, right. Let me secure that right. Bolton Wanderers, I want to secure this right. That was a little joke I had. Bolton Wanderers, right, are a football club that are, unlike a lot of football clubs up and down the country, that are ran properly now. 2-3 years ago, they're an absolute mess. They've got great ownership now. That fat people that care about that football club. They had a great ticket offer and they got fans inside the ground. Did I agree with Everett's comment? No. But he was praising them. And let's be honest, he had me on strings in the week. But fair play to both of us. I was having a pop at you. I rate you. You were actually, to be fair, in the corner. They were one of the best fan bases I've seen this season. So, even though you beat us, you didn't quite send us down. Dion Shaw scored a very good, I don't know even how to describe that goal, but, fair play to Bolton. But it was a good weekend.
Yeah, no, mate, we had a great time last day of the season. We had an under-18s game on after the first team game, so that was good. And we had an Oasis tribute band, which was good fun, but it didn't look as fun as Jim's bar. Saturday afternoon looked very chaotic, and I would very much have loved to have been there.
Wasn't Jim's bar, mate? Up the wire light in Fleetwood, by the way. We'll get on to that in a bit. Hello, guys that are just joining. I do really appreciate it. Sub to you. Thank you very much. Go and give Jake a sub on this States West podcast as well. Doing really good stuff over there. Congratulations to Wigan. Yes, we'll go over the top, but we're going to get through the crappier games, really. The 4 games that didn't really matter. And to be fair to them, I think Cambridge and Cheltenham, if you said to them, this will be a dead rubber game, winner, probably the winner, finishes above you, end up in the spoils, and 2 of the best strikers in League One this season have scored, well for their respective clubs. Smith has now scored 15 and Alpha scored 23. Again, 58 and 56 points respectively. I think they can both look back and go, what a season for our football clubs. And this is just the start. We can build on this with, good management in, Mark Bonner and, Michael Duff.
Yeah, no, really good game for the neutral as well. 2 strikers that are banging form, aren't they? Alfie Mays scored a heap towards the end of the season, and Sam Smith has come on leaps and bounds, I think, since he was on loan at Oxford and places at Swindon as well. So, no, good, really good for them. I think, obviously, the only sad thing from a Cheltenham point of view is that Will Boyle got sent off. I think Michael Duff sort of said that it was going to be Will Boyle's last appearance as a Cheltenham player, and he looks like he's going to move on in the summer, which will be interesting to see where he goes, whether that's League One or the Championship. But no, fantastic season for both of these clubs, and it was a bit of a goal fest, like I think everyone was sort of hoping for, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and again, fair play to both clubs. Now, looking on from that, Ipswich and Charlton will be looking at not to be in the playoffs. I think Ipswich can take a lot of positives from the last half of the season. I know they weren't as great as they were last year, or as they might have been. Burns has been a positive light for them. He's been really, really good for them this season. Scored a lot of goals, been really effective. Scored, I think in double figures now, assisted goals as well. Charlton have been poor. Really, they've either been really good this season or really poor, but they've still managed to assess 59 points. And then Oxford Doncaster, I think Oxford will be disappointed to only draw the game. Billy Bowden, to be fair to him, I think scored 4 and 5 towards the end of the season, scoring against Fleetwood, MK Dons, and now Doncaster. But overall, if Doncaster played that game 5-6 games ago, that is an unbelievable point for them. And to be fair, since January 15th, I think Doncaster have collected 17 points from 17 games. So where other teams have averaged under a point, they've averaged over a point. It's just that awful start they had in about January, September, October time, where they just didn't really assess enough points, really.
Yeah, and going to Oxford is a really good, and getting the point is a really good result. I don't know about you, Ben, but I had my goal notifications turned off for Doncaster in case they were going to get the 27 goals, whatever it was, that they needed to stay up. Unfortunately for them, that obviously they've left it too late. I think they'll be looking at that Morecambe game, crucially, where they were, 3-0 up away at half-time and they lost 4-3. That might be the moment that they look doomed. So, no, I'm sure Donny will be fine in League Two next year under McSheffrey and Coppinger. As for Oxford, difficult season, obviously coming in the playoffs twice in a row, missing out, but I'm sure Carl Robinson will rebuild and sign a host of players and get them back challenging for the playoffs next time around as well.
Agreed, Jake. I think for me, Ipswich and Oxford are looking at two different prospects. I know Ipswich signed pretty much, it was 20 and 20 out last summer, wasn't it? It was. I think Ipswich are going to need maybe possibly this season 11 or 12 out and maybe 6 or 7 in. Thin the squad, but get real quality over quantity for me. Whereas Oxford are more like, if we're going to challenge again, we've got to keep our players and add a couple of good loanees, because in previous seasons, Oxford have used that loan market really, really well, haven't they? You look at Thornley, the start of the season was a very, very good loan signing. There's more to add to that in the last couple of years. They've really used it well. A bit like Fleetwood did when they got to the players where they signed Harry Suter, Lewis Gibson, Barry Mackay. And I've just listed, Cameron Brannigan, Matty Taylor, Sykes, White. There's more players like that. Bowden, towards the end of the season, went on good form when he's a decent, attacking midfielder at this level. There's more in a defensive sort of way. And also, as well, keeping Carl Robinson on board, because, everything seems stable for Oxford. They just never seem to get over that line, really. And in any other League One season, they get in with that point side. I think they got a point less last year and finished, inside I think they finished 6th, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. No, yeah, and look, there's a few jobs kicking about in the Championship, isn't there? QPR are managerless. So potentially one to keep an eye on if Carl Robinson is going to be able to get the chance to move up. But no, like you say, Oxford are a really good sign. If they can keep Cameron Brannigan, which I think they might struggle to do this year, if they can keep him, they'll be up there again. But if they lose him, they've got to look to replace him, and that will be very difficult because he is a top player.
I agree. A lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans in the comments as well. Keep the comments coming in, guys. We will have a Q&A at the end. Again, now, you want to do a piece on this. For me, Michael Appleton leaving, again, ending on a high. You haven't been good this season. And for once, I never blame the manager. And I never blame Michael Appleton once. We talk about loanees. That was what you did last season. Fleetwood's drop-off was due to not getting the quality of loanees in, and you weren't backed. And it was a 2.5-year stay. And for me, he was always under pressure when he came in because he didn't get off to a good start. And then his turning point for me was in that first season, just around Christmas time, where he beat Ipswich 5-3 at Sinclair Bank. And that bought me a bit more time. And you went on a little bit of a good run. And then you were amazing the first half of last season. You were scoring goals, but keeping the back door shut, and brilliant away from home as well. One of the best sides I think Fleetwood played last season, where it was just horrible to play against, where it was like you just couldn't get free kicks, you couldn't get a passage of play, you couldn't move the ball, you couldn't have attempts on goal. And their team to get into the playoffs. And this year, obviously, he's been questioned, and he changed formation towards the end and went to a back three and was much better. I know you're gutted. Just talk to me about Michael Appleton and what he did for your football club.
Yeah, massive amount, Ben. Michael Appleton is a great manager and will be a massive asset for any football club that decide to give him a job. He did a lot. Taking over from the Cowleys was never going to be an easy ride, was it? With the success that they brought to Lincoln. But I think this decision's sort of been coming this season. He wasn't backed in the window a year ago. So Morgan Whittaker, that came in January, was supposed to come in the summer. Didn't happen. Just wasn't backed. And then, like you say, we're just not been able to replace the quality, and he's never been able to get that connect with the fans that supporters crave for with their manager. And he's never had that. I mean, personally, he's been great with me. I've been speaking to him a lot. I've spoken to his wife quite a lot through Twitter. Fantastic people. Really good to see him go. And I have no doubt, Ben, that he'll get a job in the Championship soon. I mean, QPR, like you said, it is one. Blackburn Rovers he's heavily linked with, potentially. And look, I mean, where does the football club go from here? The two favourites at the moment, Ben, Ian Foster, who is England under-19 manager at the minute, who helped develop the likes of Foden, Sancho, Hudson-Odoi. He's on the list. But the favourite at the moment with the bookies is the Shamrock Rovers manager, Stephen Bradley. Be interesting to see if he can come in and do a job. But obviously, neither of these have managed in the EFL before, so it could be difficult. But no, just a massive tribute to Michael Appleton. Such a top bloke, really good style of football. And I think if Lincoln go on and become something under this model where we sell players young and sell them high price, I think Michael Appleton will be the godfather of that process. And no, I can't thank him enough for what he did for us and giving us a day out at Wembley. I know we didn't win the playoff final, but Lincoln City are never a Championship club, and Michael Appleton nearly made it possible. Such a top bloke.
What about that comment again? Walker, Grant, and Brennan Johnson again. It would have been difficult, and he's proven this year. Possibly a link with those that could, bring top quality loanees in and have those, contacts at a higher level.
Yeah, I think that's why people are sort of crowding around Ian Foster at the moment. He working in the England setup. Yeah. He will be around these top talents every day, won't he? And I imagine as a manager of an England side, he will be in regular contact with these clubs and they will know how they can develop him. So, no, it depends who it is. I mean, we've not got many top clubs around us. Forest are fairly close, but apart from that, you're looking at Leicester, not too many geographically. So, no, I was speaking to Tom from 4-0 and all over it. I was joking that we might be able to nick George Hurst. Obviously, he's at Leicester. Tom didn't take too well to it, which I'm not surprised at. But no, look, it's an exciting job for anybody coming in, Ben. A good group of players that are well more capable of outperforming what they've done this season, and a fan base that, like you said earlier in the week, one of the best grounds for atmosphere in the league, can get behind them. And once we get behind the team and the manager, Lincoln can go places, and hopefully that's what we'll do under the next manager. That's me done now. I'm going to cry if I speak about Michael Appleton anymore because he's such a top man.
I tell you what, I'd love it if he came to Fleetwood. He'd finally get one of the two co-hosts on the League One Roundup, the one that actually speaks sense. So he'd be coming, to the better one. So
we'll see if
Michael,
his wife follows you on. We'll see if his wife follows you on Twitter and takes a liking to you like she has me.
Right. Okay. Now we're going to talk about top quality. Now Wigan Athletic are just that. Now Wigan Athletic this season, phenomenal. Now they won the league with 92 points. That is 2 points a game. How many times do we say on this show, Jay? 2 points a game wins league titles, wins promotion, wins championships. And for me, that is what they've done. For me, staying up last year was a huge achievement, but this is way bigger because what they had, it's like they had land in place. And what they've done is put brick by brick on to get in place to put in that land. They had quality in the building. They had Liam Richardson on a 3-year contract who's been phenomenal. Saved Charlie White's life. Absolute hero. Motivational speaker. His speech after the game, by the way, got goosebumps on mine. I'm not even a Wigan fan. Phenomenal. The respect that those players have and the fans have for him, and everyone just listens to him. He's got that aura and you want to play for him. And he's just got top quality players, but it's all right having top quality players because Ipswich have that, Sunderland have that, Bolton have that, Portsmouth have that, Sheffield Wednesday have that, but they've not done it like Wigan. Wigan have stormed the league, to only lose twice away from home, only to lose one out your last 22 away games is phenomenal. 45, goal contributions between Will Keane and Callum Lang. Unbelievable. To go away, win 3-0 away at Shrewsbury, a difficult place to go. All season they've had knockbacks, they've been 2-0 down at places, and they've won 3-2, or they've always found goals, they've always found the character, and they've stuck together. Do I think they're good enough right now to compete in the Championship? I think they need 4 or 5 new bodies, but I'd love it if they could stay up. I think they'll do a Blackpool and they'll comfortably. So I think Wigan will get to 60 points next season in the Championship with the quality that they've got in the building. Jake, for me, Wigan Athletic, phenomenal, deserve the league title. Liam Richardson is, for me, one of the managers in the EFL this season. And for me, they're going to go on, and it's great to see they've got great ownership. And for me, I just buzzing that they've done it after last season at the Torrid Times in the space of 18 months to turn it around. Remarkable.
Yeah, we've made a few Wigan friends, haven't we, over the last couple of weeks? Look, there's nobody that deserved the title more than Wigan. They were able to grind results out. They've had injuries, they've had COVID, they've had all sorts sort of affecting the camp this year. And to go through, was it 9 weeks of Saturday, Tuesday, and it's all well and good having the games in hand, but you have to win the games, don't you? And they've done it, and they've went and won the title. I mean, like you said, Shrewsbury's a difficult ground to go to and win. A lot of teams have struggled there, but Wigan literally just brushed past them, didn't even need to get out of second gear. So, no, congratulations to Wigan. Hopefully, we see you do well in the Championship. Really good football club, well run, cracking manager, cracking set of fans, and all the best. It'd be a shame we're not covering you next season, but hopefully we don't see you for a little while.
Yeah, we will still have a look at Championship clubs and how they're getting on next season as well. And we do wish Wigan Athletic all the best. And we talk about teams. Rotherham is who also went up, who beat Gillingham, and we're going to come on to Gillingham when we come on to the relegation battle. So we're just going to touch on Rotherham for the time being, Jake. Phenomenal achievement to get promoted in the last 6 seasons. Relegated, playoff winners, relegated, promoted the second under the season, got curtailed, just finishing behind Coventry. Relegated and come back up. I think this is the strongest side that they've got now. They had a few aging players the last few years. Now they've got a good youth to Osua Tutu's come through, been phenomenal this season. Rathbone, Wild, Barlasser, Smith is a decent striker. I think they need to crop a couple of the deadwood out, the likes of Freddie Ladapo, and bring a proper striker in. For me, my message is back Paul One, and he will keep you in the Championship. He's nearly done it last year. And to get 89 points, you deserve to go up. I think, they've been phenomenal for the large period of the season. That unbeaten run in the first half of the season. Then I think they lost a couple to Accrington and Fleetwood. By the way, they kept Fleetwood up, and Fleetwood beat them twice last season. So thanks, Rotherham, by the way. They deserve to go up, Rotherham, don't they?
Yep, and get me a season ticket at the New York Stadium, because you seem to never be, disappointed, do you? There's either promotions or relegations, and no, look, Rotherham are another one like Wigan. Not the biggest club in terms of fan base and structure, but a very well-run football club. And they stuck with the manager. They were very hard done by to get relegated last season. I think they received they were really screwed up by the EFL in terms of having to cram a load of fixtures in right at the back end of the season, which was difficult for them. But they just show that if you stick with Paul Warne, he knows what he's doing at this level. They recruited really smartly, didn't they? Ollie Rathbone was such a good addition. Keeping hold of Michael Smith, bringing in some players like you say, Tutu that's come from Arsenal, and they've won a cup and they've got promoted this year. I think that'd be a season that Rotherham United fans will remember for a long time, because it's not very often you get to do a double like that. So, no, congrats to Rotherham. I imagine, given their sort of time scale, we'll probably see them soon. Hopefully we don't, but no, yeah, fantastic job from all involved, and I wish you all the best in the second tier.
Also, I'd just like to say, by the way, a Rotherham fan joke, they couldn't even fill out Wigan Stadium together. And we talk about fans not winning games of football. For me, at a football club, what wins titles and promotions is stability. A good manager is key. I look at the Championship and I look at a team that punched above the weight. I think Coventry, I think they've got a great squad, but a brilliant manager.
Luton.
I look at League One. And I thought of Appleton last year. I thought of, obviously Rotherham, Wigan, Wickham, MK Dons, all have good managers, but also they ran properly at the top as well. They get the right players in, they get the right training in, the right facilities, the right food, right everything that are bang on. And for me, I'm buzzing that they've both gone up and done it their way. Ben,
before we move on, can I just say, you just said there, football fans don't win them games. But did you see the Rotherham fans pointing to Georgie Kelly when Benny had the ball out wide, and they were pointing, saying, "Oh, pass it to him." And for a first touch as a Rotherham player, not a bad one, was it?
No, brilliant. The limbs, by the way, was unbelievable. Now we're going to go down to the relegation, and then we'll come back to the playoff, because the playoff is the bulk of the show. Now, I'll touch on Morecambe first because I think Morecambe were, for me, they were, as soon as they beat Charlton and they scored that late goal against Portsmouth, for me, I always believed that they'd stay up because I didn't think Wimbledon would stay up, and I didn't think Gillingham would stay up, and I thought it was between Fleetwood and Gillingham, really, and I thought, well, Fleetwood just edged it because they got Wimbledon. We'll come back to Fleetwood, but Morecambe, phenomenal. Now, people keep talking that Cole Stockton's kept them up. He has, but you've also got to mention players like Aaron Wildig, Trevor Carson, who was, for me, one of the best players in League One when he came in, especially those last 7 or 8 games of the season. Players like, Connolly, who work hard for the badge, Arthur Ganoe, even though he's not got the quality, they will work hard. And Derek Adams came in, and after the international break, I think that is another reason why Morecambe are still in League One, Jake. For a town that is a small town, cheap season tickets, all in it together, remarkable job, and one that they can be really proud on. But for me, Morecambe Football Club, this is just the start.
Yeah, and look, they're adding to that stat, aren't they? That in their formation as a football club, they've never been relegated. So, to come up a level, given the fact that every year in League Two they were, bookies' favourites to go straight back down, and to come up a level and compete, which they have done, is a credit to them lot. And no, really good achievement from Morecambe. I think they've released their retain list today, haven't they? Quite a few players leaving the football club. But the main thing for them will be, like we've said all season, is Cole Stockton is still under contract, and that's massive for them in terms of next season. Because if they sell Cole Stockton now, that's probably what the fee they're going to get for him will almost build a brand new squad for them. So really hope they can rebuild and stay up again, because they're a fantastic football club and a real loyal set of supporters. So no, good for Morecambe. Obviously, glad they've stayed up. Not at Fleetwood's expense, which is good. But no, really good football club, really good set of fans, and just glad that we get to cover them again next year, because they're quite a niche, interesting club to cover.
Yeah, I'm really glad they stayed up. I know they're a rivalry for Fleetwood, but I think the supporters are brilliant. At home, they've been ace this season, one of the best in League One. At home and away from home, they were impressive, and they got behind in numbers. There's not many of them, but the noise is always impressive. And they are a nice football club in a way that they're family orientated, and they don't rob the supporters. Like they drive around 3,000 fans paying 150 quid each, then 1,500 fans paying 160 quid. So they'd rather make less money but get more fans in, because then over the course of 10 years, you're going to make more money anyway for getting more fans in from their sons and daughters and family members, and food and shirt sales, and just creates a buzz. And I'm well done to Morecambe Football Club. And we'll come on to Gillingham now. It's never nice. Gillingham obviously did join Doncaster. We've discussed Doncaster weren't good enough, but fair play, they improved. I think Wimbledon as well, Jake, before we go to Gills, they've won 6 games all season. They didn't win in 27 games. Now, the iFollow commentator on Quest said it was an impossible job for Mark Bowen when he first came into the football club, which he had 7 games to go. And let's be honest, they were pretty much level on points with the bottom 5, bottom 6. I think calling it an impossible job with the quality that they've got in that squad is very harsh.
Yeah, I think maybe that whilst I agree with you in terms of the points total, I think perhaps what the commentator was trying to get to was the mindset in that dressing room. Obviously, they've lost so many points in winning positions, haven't they? Recently, they concede late goal after late goal after late goal, and I think perhaps it was difficult for any manager to come in. It could have been Pep Guardiola to change the mindset of these players to stop them from conceding those late goals. And if they had kept on to all those winning points and positions, they'd be absolutely nowhere near the drop. So no, look, obviously they had a really entertaining game, didn't they, against Accrington? 4-3, good way to go out, I suppose. And I think they're going to lose quite a few key players, aren't they? I think Assar will get a League One move. I think Jack Rodoni might even get a Championship move, depending on who's interested. So no, good. Obviously bad season for Wimbledon. They deserve to go down, didn't they? And you go on a run of where you're not winning 27 games, Ben, and you've won 6 all season. The writing's sort of on the wall, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and McCormick, another one who's, genuine quality. 7 goals, 7 assists for that man last season. Was brilliant in Bristol Rovers. Relegation last year. He's had 2 really good years, and he's been relegated both years in poor sides, let's be honest. Gillingham, again, never nice seeing tides relegated, but I think they do deserve it. I think they only won 1 out of the last 7 games, really, and I know they drew 3, lost 3, but for me, over the course of the season, when there's what it, and Harry's statement, though, mate, we've got 7 players under contract here. None of them will be here because I don't want them here. The standards at this football club is an absolute disgrace. Brutal, but fair. The ownership, everyone at that football club needs to take note because they've not been good enough for a couple of years. Steve Evans did a fantastic job these last 2 or 3 years, and it's highlighted now.
Yeah, and I'm not one to give Steve Evans credit, but no, obviously, I think they came 10th last year in League One, didn't they? Which was a really good achievement. They were looking at gate crashing the playoffs, like you said. But this year it's not been good enough. I think we've both spoken to Matt this season, and the recruitment looked a little bit strange over the summer. Then in January they lost Carl Dempsey to Bolton, and yes, Neil Harris has come in and has made an impact. And I'm really glad he's going to be staying there next year. But, the club look a bit of a shambles from the outside, and maybe going down to League Two might be the best for them to come up with a new structure, a new ownership model, perhaps, back Neil Harris in League Two and get them back up to this level and compete, because Gillingham at this level can be competitive. And no, as you say, the statement is quite damning. I think if you're one of those Gillingham players contracted for next season, I would be on my phone to my agent pretty much saying, get me out of here. But if given time and the resources, I think Neil Harris could probably look to bring them straight back up. But League Two is getting more and more competitive, just like League One is. So it'll be a tough ask.
There's 4 or 5 teams that can win promotions in League Two.
Yeah.
You're looking at Port Vale, Mansfield today dropped points away at Salford. Northampton, very good. Bristol Rovers, phenomenal at the minute. 3-1 down the other day, 1-4-3. Joey Barton masterclass. Never thought I'd say that in my life. Now, we talk about Joey Barton. Fair play to me. He did come up with a nice message about Fleetwood. But for me, losing 4-2 now, for me all season, Fleetwood Town Football Club have not been good enough. Fleetwood Town have stayed up, winning 1 in 21, drawn 9, lost 12. They've lost too many points in the last minute of games, conceded too many goals in the last minute of games. Lincoln away, Portsmouth away, Burton away, Wickham away, Accrington at home. The standards at Fleetwood this season have been nothing short of an embarrassment. And people talk that Fleetwood should be in League One, they're competing above the weight. That doesn't wash with me anymore. Fleetwood Town have been in League One for the most amount of time, for 9 years, and they've done really well. They've had money pumped in. The squad at the minute at Fleetwood is okay. There's some good players, young players, and in 3 or 4 years, I believe if Fleetwood can keep their core in the next 3 or 4 years, Fleetwood Town will be in a top 6/top 8, top 10 charge with those bunch. If we can keep likes of Barry Bagley, Paddy Lane, the next bunch coming through, Shaden Morris, Chris Clark, Connor Teagle, those types of players, but they need good players around them now. And for me, I look at it and I don't think we've got that. We lost 4-2 the other day. And for me, it was always going to come down to the Gillingham game. And we stayed up on goal difference, which for me, I was buzzing at the end of the game. But it was relief at the end of the game. I can't lie. And, Bolton were really good. They scored 4 decent goals. The third goal was
weird.
He slide tackled one of our players and Cairns off his line. I love Cairns, but where was he? Where was our defence? And the goals that we conceded the other day, a slip ball through in, again, too easy. Second one, again, we let a man have a free hit on the edge of the box. John, really good player. The third one, weird. Fourth one, we don't fall up on a second ball all season. And then we lose the game 4-2. So we stay up. It was nice that the players, collapsed us at the end. And for me, how many players would I keep at Fleetwood? 5, 6?
Rebuild.
It is a massive rebuild. It's a massive summer. The manager will change 100%. Scott Brown, by the way, also rumoured as well. So Fleet will get through by the skin of the teeth and just about stay up. But there's a lot to do next year. Fleet will want to stay up because in any other League One season, they would have been gone. Plymouth the other year went down with 50. I think Oldham went down with 51 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, I think I was watching Quest on Saturday night, and I think Fleetwood would have gone down in every single season up until 2002, 2003. So you would have stayed up that season, but every season since then you've been relegated. And
The year I
what
was
did you
born,
finish?
by the way, funny enough.
40 points, Ben. The moment you take staying up, but not being good enough to stay up like you've been this year, the moment you accept that as a victory is the moment the standards slip at the football club. And this is a really crucial summer for your boys, because that can you could so easily fall into League Two next year if you've got that mentality of, if we get to 40 points again, we should be all right. It's not going. I don't think it's going to cut it next season. Obviously, we don't know that. But no, massive season ahead of Fleetwood. I suspect you'll get a new manager in. I don't know whether Craney will be kept on. Yes, he's kept you up, but literally it was out of your hands, wasn't it? It was completely out of your hands. So I don't know whether you agree, Ben, but if I was you, I'd be climbing all over Dave Artell and saying, please come and have a go with us.
Mate, I said it a month ago. I think he's a perfect. People just talk to me about his crew. Like, so are we forgetting that 5 years ago they were 19th in League Two? He kept them up. Next year it was just outside the playoffs. Next year wins and promotion. Next year keeps them up comfortably. Was close to the playoffs. Sold on loads of good players. Never got reinvestment back into the squad, and ultimately fell victim to the best League One top 12 ever. For me, if you want to talk to me about his bad 6 months, I can talk to you about 6 good years in Dave Artell. So I agree with you. Spot on. For me, it'll go one of two ways. Fleetwood will see us, we got away with it. We're a League One club. We can build around these young lads and we can do the same again. No. Just say, right, we've got to rebuild. That can never happen again. Because in any other League One season, we'll slip. Now, should we talk about the playoffs, Jake?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's quite interesting. And to be honest, Ben, if you look at the 4 teams that have finished in them, yes, you feel gutted for Argyle, don't you? But probably the 4 teams that deserve to finish in the top 6. I've got no arguments given the runs that they're on and the quality and all the squads. It's going to be such a fascinating 2 weeks into it, and looking forward to some playoff games and hopefully a lot of high quality goals and end-to-end moments, really.
Yeah, I think that you look at the playoffs now. MK Dons only lost 2 of the last 17 games, and they were fairly recent as well. And they bounced back really well. Good win over a struggling Morecambe side who were robust and are hard to beat and hard to break down at times under Derek Adams, especially the last 7 or 8 games of the season. I know. Other than that, they've been an absolute joke defensively. I think they conceded 87, 88 goals, which is the most in the division. And MK Dons deserve to be in there. They won 5-0 the other day away at Plymouth. Scott Twine scoring 4. All 4 were unbelievable. The flick on from close range was phenomenal. The last one was an unbelievable. That lad, 20 goals, and that's 34 in 97 appearances in the last 2 games. I think you'd be look at the goals tally, but look how many games he's played. He's played nearly 100 EFL games in the last 2 games. He hardly ever misses a game. He's always fit. He never gets. He'll probably get injured in the first leg. Now I've said that, but for me, I'd say if they don't go up, I'd say they could push him £5 million for him. If they go up, I reckon you could be looking at 10 million plus for Scott Twine, the talent that he is. And then you look at the other teams. Sheffield Wednesday hit a bit of form. 53 points at home, Jake, is ridiculous, isn't it? The most in League One. And then you look at Sunderland, 14 unbeaten, winning 8, drawing 6. And then Wigan were, I think, 13 unbeaten as well. They were on a good run as well. And Plymouth ultimately fell victim and only won 1 of the last 7 games, only scored twice. And in the end, they weren't good enough. And I think Stephen Schumacher's lack of experience, maybe, didn't do it in the end. Liam Manning's obviously managed before. Gareth Ames has been around the block, one of the best managers in the EFL. Alex Neil's very tactically input. And Darren Moore obviously done really well. Got to a playoffs before with Doncaster, which I think got Sheffield Wednesday over the line in the end.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on all 4 of the teams, I think MK Dons obviously absolutely hammered Plymouth, didn't they, on Saturday? And given the way that the game at Rotherham was going, it might have even looked that they were going to go up automatically. They looked like they were going to sneak in there, but fantastic performance. Scott Twine is such a baller at this level, and how he was available for the fee he was available for in the summer due to compensation, it was ridiculous that MK picked him up for. The boy's got talent, and then obviously Harry Darling's got another one, hasn't he? And I think that's 11 or 12 for the season now from centre half. Fully deserving of replacing Team of the Year. Sheffield Wednesday, like you say, 53 points at home. They beat Pompey, didn't they? I think they had a bit of a go at George Hurst, singing about him.
The chant was unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah, and George Hurst went and scored, which obviously, if you've watched Tom's video, caused a bit of carnage up in that away end. But no, Sheffield Wednesday, and I was critical of them earlier on in the season. I thought they were a little bit of a charity case in terms of giving some of the smaller teams a go. They completely shut me up, and fair play to them. They've gone and got some big results. The one against MK Dons obviously stands out. Then you've got Sunderland as well, under Alex Neil, look a completely different animal to what they did under Lee Johnson. Under Lee Johnson, they just, it's so streaky Lee-like, isn't it, for them to go on really good form and then they're really bad. And I'm sort of hoping Lee Johnson stays fully away from our hot seat. But no, Alex Neil is a really good manager at championship level, and he's done something to them, and he's brought in a load of good players, and he's got them playing a way that suits the team. Whereas before, you look at Sunderland, especially last year, they probably didn't play to their strengths enough. Whereas this year, they definitely do. And then Wickham, under Gareth Ainsworth, a really good manager, they'll be the ones, sort of like we said with Oxford last year, where they'll not feel lucky to be in the playoffs, just to nab it on the last day. But another really good team that are so good at what they do. That MK Dons Wickham game is going to be a clash of two styles, and I'm so ready for it. I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, we both know Broom, the Wickham fan, he's looking forward to it. So, look, it's going to be tight, and I don't think I can call it at the moment, Ben. All four are very good sides in good form, which is exactly what you want playoff football to be, especially for the neutral. If I'm one of those fans, I'm absolutely bricking it. But this year we can both, because we've both been in this situation, haven't we? Fleetwood, 3 years ago, us last season. It's nice to be just relaxing and watching those fan bases go into a bit of meltdown.
Yeah, for me. So we'll discuss the playoff game. We'll start off with Wickham MK Dons, because that is the first game. Also, by the way, if you could like the stream as well, there's just shy of 100 in here tonight, which is phenomenal. Pretty much Fleetwood's average away support all season. So good of you to join us. If you could also subscribe as well. We are closing in on 9,000 subscribers now, and also go over to Jake's the Stacey West podcast, doing really good. And again, unfortunately, we'll have to meet up next year and do some content together, Jake. And but
you're cruising for a bruising, Ben.
We'll talk about Wickham MK Dons now. Wickham, phenomenal to get into the playoffs. Brilliant achievement with the likes of Sam Vokes, who scored again. I think that's 16 for the season. For that man, a great goal the other day. And they got over that line. And, the run that they went on got them into the playoffs. I think about some of the late goals to snatch points. The one away at Wimbledon, how good of a point does that seem now that you didn't see? And I thought, decent point that overall. The 93rd minute winner against Fleetwood, Jason McCarthy. And, the win away at Burton. They've got great character. That win over Sheffield Wednesday last week was, ridiculously good. And they deserve to be in the playoffs. And they're playing an MK Dons side that like to play football, like to, play. But Wickham are going to press. They're going to, sit in a good block as well when they're out of possession. But also, get long balls forward and try and hurt, MK Dons' vulnerability, because you can get at MK Dons with, the way they play. They do get open at sometimes, and Sam Vokes can be a lethal, option in playoff games, and you can never write them off. I think when it went behind closed doors, their substitutes were like fans. The way they were, you could hear them on this clapping, going, chasing for every ball, and Gareth Ainsworth. He's been there before. He knows his league, and he knows how to get out of it. And he'll be hungry for a third promotion while at, Wigan Wanderers Football Club. Yeah,
an absolute legend of the game, Gareth Ainsworth. Fantastic manager. And look, what I do, if I'm fearing for one of the teams more than the other, I'm fearing slightly more for Wickham. Purely the fact that Wickham will probably sit in at MK Dons and try and probably take they'll probably try and, I mean, they'll be defensively sound. They'll screen the ball really well. But MK Dons, it's not like they'll panic and go, well, we've not had this before. MK Dons just find a way around those teams. They'll pass them to death. And look, Ben, if you've played football before at any level, you'll know that it's a lot easier having the ball than it is not having the ball, because you're doing far more running. I just worry that the MK Dons pinging the ball about for 70, 75 minutes might just cause a few gaps in that Wycombe defence. Yes, look, Wycombe will probably play for set pieces, and the Wednesday game against MK has shown that they're vulnerable to set pieces. So that might be their way in. But if you're Wycombe, you've got to be looking at taking an advantage to Stadium MK when they play at Adams Park, because, like we've said so many times, Adams Park is their home ground, and they play the way that they want, and they make the opposition play the way they want. So it will be interesting to see how that game goes. And then obviously, if they can get that advantage going into the second leg, how they set up, whether they try and play on the break or whether they try and impose themselves again. Look, it's fascinating, and two really good teams that probably both in their own right deserve to get promoted, but because of the competitive nature of this division, neither of them could end up getting promoted come the end of the month.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, there's pressure on Wycombe. They've got to, if they go 1-0 down, I think they'll respond. But I think for me, they've just got to stay in the game as long as they can. And I do think they are, like Tony says, one of the only clubs that can upset MK Dons. And it's going to be a ridiculously good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, Ben. I like you say, I'm edging towards MK Dons to progress, but I think there'll be two great spectacles. Yeah,
for me also. Now, Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland. Now, these football clubs could get, if you had the attendance together, you'd be looking at 91,000 fans for League One football. That is ridiculous. Mental. For me, the biggest three clubs I've seen in League One in my lifetime are Leeds United, Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland. I can't remember having two at the same time as big as these football clubs. And in a way, I'm happy that they get... I'd love to see it at Wembley, but over two legs. Early in the season, Sunderland beat them 5-0 and then Wednesday beat them 3-0. There's two very good sides, on form. They've both got very good strikers in Ross Stewart, who's scoring 24, 25 goals this season. You've got Lee Gregory, who's got 8 and 8 now. Obviously, he scored a hat-trick against Fleetwood as well. They've kept 16 clean sheets Wednesday. They scored 78 goals. They've conceded 50 goals, which would be a worry for Sheffield Wednesday. But I just think both sides go for it for me. And I think it's going to be one of those games where I think it could be 5-5 and it could go to extra time.
Yeah, and Ben, you just got to look at the two league games between the two clubs this season, and they've both been absolute humdingers, haven't they? One, obviously, at the Stadium of Light, I think Sunderland might have battered them 5-0, and then at Hillsborough, Wednesday returned the favour and beat them 3-0. So, look, another fascinating contest between two massive football clubs, and the atmosphere in those two grounds over the next couple of weeks. I mean, I know that you'll be there and you'll enjoy it, but it's going to be electric. The hairs on your neck, Ben, even though you're not a Wednesday fan, will be standing up. I have no doubt about it. And yeah, look, two really big football clubs. Again, I might look like I'm sitting on the fence, but two football clubs that do not deserve to be in this level. Absolutely, no. They both deserve to get promoted. Look, it's one where you can't call Wednesday so strong at home. Sunderland fairly strong on the road as well. Is it when Wednesday finished 4th and Sunderland finished 5th, so they'll be at the Hillsborough 2nd.
Right. So, mate, that cup, it might not be there come the end of the game.
Two absolutely massive football clubs, and it's difficult to fathom how they've both ended up in League One. And I'm sure the supporters will be gagging for Championship football. Not Ben, it's such an exciting clash, isn't it? If you were looking at obviously, one set of fans is going to be absolutely heartbroken that they're not going to get promoted. But I literally don't think I can call it, purely based on we've seen so much good of both sides. But we've also seen the bad of both sides. Not recently, but on playoff semi-final games, the pressure's there, and we've not seen these teams under huge pressure as of yet. And it'll be interesting to see how they both cope under such immense amount of pressure.
By the way, Jake, thanks for ruining the secret. I wasn't going to tell anyone I was going.
Oh, crikey!
You just announced. It looks to me I have a ticket for the game, and also big news. I might be going to MK Dons Wigan second leg, so hopefully there'll be 2 playoff vlogs for you there, all being well. If not, there'll be other content coming out on the channel. For me, I'm not going to say predictions yet, but I can't call it. In other years, I could call it, but this year, you've got 2 massive football clubs in one, and 2 football clubs that have done it correctly and deserve to be in there for a reason. And got 2 very good managers, 2 very good squads. Don't have the fan bases as as the other 2 football clubs, but one of them is going to. Whoever wins that MK Dons Wickham game, they're going to be the ones that aren't talked about. They're going to be the ones that are, that go there. They're not going to have 50,000 fans. They might take 25, 30, 35,000, but they're going to be outnumbered 100%. But that sometimes can cause pressure on, on Sunderland or Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, and you've seen it at both of those clubs how the fans. This is not a criticism of the fans at all, but when results aren't going your way and the game's not going your way, you can see how quickly those supporters can turn. And we saw it last year. I know to bring it up to Sunderland fans, but when Sunderland were 2-0 up in the second leg against us, fans were on the backs. Tom Hopper goes and scores, and how toxic did 10,000 fans sound on the TV? Horrendously so. So imagine 50,000 Mackhams or Wednesdayites that are gunning against your team. It's difficult. So like you say, maybe it's coming under the radar, the MK Dons or the Wickham that might react to that best, because when you're going away from home, the plan is to effectively take because the crowd is like a 12th man, isn't it? When you go away, it's to take that away from them and make them frustrated. So a bit of a game plan for the other team if they can frustrate 50,000 or however many Wednesday or Sunderland fans will be there on the playoff final day.
100%. And looks to be Hillsborough. I can't lie. Someone bought the ticket. I do feel really, really bad. But the guy who got it, the other person he normally goes with doesn't want to. Well, can't go. So, for me,
have I caused you shit, Ben? Have I caused you a bit of bother?
To go to a game of that magnitude would be unbelievable. I would, if it does sell out, I might rethink. I will be honest with you, because I think it should go to a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I'll be honest with you. But, it's a huge game. And for me, I think whoever does go up, I think would deserve to go up over the playoffs, because I think they've all been, all deserved it. But, the players on the pitch will decide that. So a huge game, Jake. Where do you see it winning?
Who do I see winning out of Wednesday? Sunderland.
Yeah.
You are going to make half your stream potentially hate me. For me, and I know I've bashed him a bit this year, I'm going to say Wednesday over 2 legs. I just think that the players that they've got, in terms of Gregory's on some good form. I think they've got a really nice squad. The atmosphere is going to massively go in their favour. And Wednesday really strong at home. Yes, they've been a bit crap away, but if they can get it back, damage limitation up at the Stadium of Light and take it back to Hillsborough, maybe a goal down, I can see Wednesday turning that around. So, yeah, for me, Wednesday to sneak past Sunderland, and I am sorry, Sunderland fans, that you'll have to have another year down here playing tin pot teams like Fleetwood and Burton and Lincoln. I do apologise, but I just think Wednesday have got everything going for them at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Well, my player predictions will be out. We'll have 10 minutes Q&A. We'll go for it. You can ask anything you want footballing related. Jay, do you want to give your channel a quick plug? There's 119 people in here now.
Right. So I all expect you to come over to my channel and subscribe. So then I hit my end of season target. The Stacey West, you don't
The
know.
Barriers are at the gates. Go and get him, lads.
Yeah. The Stacey West YouTube channel. We nearly hit our end of season target of 500 subs. I think we're about 35 off. So if you want to come over, it's Lincoln City content. Obviously, you might not support Lincoln City, but it's a good watch anyway. This mug over there is on the channel twice a season. If I can afford him next season as well. There's also the main podcast that you can go and listen to on the Stacey West podcast on Apple and Spotify and all that. And then my Twitter as well, at Jake_Tong98, which is TONGE. Come over and have a chat. I'll be tweeting about the League One playoffs, no doubt. And we get a bit of stick on Twitter, me and Ben, but it's all worth it because I quite enjoy winding people up. So if I can wind you up, feel free to come and give us a follow.
Fair enough. Scott Twain's Wednesday to go up, mate.
No.
Get your wallets out because
no, can't afford it.
You know something? If I'd be looking at potential higher championship moves, if maybe
Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford could be if Christian Eriksen does leave as well, who's rumored to be going elsewhere as well. We're at the Stacey West podcast. To be fair, it is a really, really good one. He gets guests on, and obviously he needs a guest on to talk the sense in the podcast. So that obviously he knows his weaknesses, and he helps on it. I don't mean it. He's a good lad. We just have to help him in. He talks about charging me. It's going up to 3 VKs when we go out next time, mate. So I think they're just 25. Not looking forward to the channel over in Appleton in the secret game. We all like Lincoln. Best way fans at Hive. Sheffield Wednesday the other night. Tell you what, 1,200 of them, loud, all game, sang before the game, during the game, when they were behind, when they went up. Goosebumps on the back of my neck. And, no trains back. They could have filled our ground if they wanted. There was probably some in our own end. There was some in our own end. Phenomenal support. And, for me, unbelievable. And didn't stop singing all game. And for me, that Lee Gregory chant, unbelievable. Like, phenomenal. It's stuck in my head. And I like the song. I didn't want to hear it that moment where he scored twice in 44 seconds, one of them including straight from kickoff. So, really, really good striker for this level and a really good fan base. And, they deserve the win on the day. Best fans away from home. This man's Lincoln City. Phenomenal. Electric. Didn't stop for 90 minutes. Loud in the corner. For me, people say they didn't expect it. Sometimes things come in, small packages, but Lincoln City, 8,000, 9,000 supporters at home, compact, filling out the ground, is sometimes better than going getting an extra 5, 10, 15, 20,000 in the ground because, it feels like, I feel like when there's not as many of you as there are other clubs, it makes you want to sing even louder. I don't know if you get that, Jake, that you want to, voice it, you want to be, because I think with Fleetwood, there's only 100 of us, I'll be shouting it even louder.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Ben. Obviously, we hit 9,000 for the Crew game on Saturday, which was good, but smaller numbers, you can make more noise, I think, because you've got less fans that don't want to sing, so your percentage is higher. I know the question wasn't asked, but the best fans at Central Bank this season, for me, don't even play in League One. Hartlepool, for me, when they came in the FA Cup, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal fan base. Obviously, they beat us that day, so it probably helped them. But they didn't bring the 2,000 like Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday did to the ground. But my God, I was fed up with them by the time I left. You know what I mean? They're just so loud, and the limbs for their goal as well, fantastic. Best I've seen for an awful long time.
Yeah. Again, best ground in the league for me. Now, I like Portsmouth and Sheffield Wednesday because I think, for me, I look at Portsmouth, phenomenal ground, great character, great, pitch, great, modern seats, everything. The fan base goes with it. Hillsborough's just like a massive Fratton Park. And then you've got your newer grounds like Sunderland, Ipswich is very good for old school character, those types of grounds that you can just feel, and you can feel the history of 50, 60 years ago as well. So I think there's all different grounds in there for a reason, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, the best stadium in terms of, I think the best experience, but I would probably say MK Dons has got a really nice ground. So, they're a small football club, but the ground's really nice. But I mean, the best ground that I in terms of, feeling historic and the fact that we've not been there for so long was Hillsborough for me. Massive history. I think probably one of their sort of back things behind their stand was probably bigger than our entire ground itself. So, like, massive football club, massive ground, and I mean, potentially we might be going back there next season, but a really, really good football ground.
By the way, this week, my away days ranked from 22nd to 1st on pubs, the facilities around the ground, in the ground, the atmosphere, the pitch, everything of my total experience will be out this week. It's going to be a 15, 20-minute video, but it will be out this week. And also reacting to my awful League One predictions. But by memory, I got Fleetwood Towns right. So I'm quite pleased about that. Jake, what about you? Favourite away day?
Wigan, for me. We weren't supposed to win, and we did. Nice pub round the corner from the ground. Just a shame it was on a Tuesday night and we only took about 300 or 400, really.
Yeah, exactly. Gregory banging or Brian banging from 30 yards. Brian, I thought Luengo was superb against us the other day, and Barry Bannon again, cheat code for this level. Again, we'll come to Wednesday's copy is bigger than Rotherham's whole ground. Haha. Again, my best ground is Fratton Park, Portsmouth. Yeah. Wednesday running over these answers. There's a lot of Wednesday fans in here tonight. Thank you for all the support. Are you ready for the playoffs? Can't wait. Cheers, James. Appreciate that. Let us know who you support in the chat, by the way, as well. Let's have a tally up of who we support, because let's see if there's any Lincoln fans. Did they have any other than Jake?
Yeah, there's quite, mate.
I thought you said you go with your mates, Jake, so there won't be any in here. Right.
That was uncalled for, Ben. No, Ben. We have. I mean, if we're playing my dad's bigger than yours, we have 3 times the size of your crowd. So if you've got that many Fleetwood fans in here, we should have 3 times the Lincoln fans.
Let's have a look. Sunderland Wednesday. Wednesday.
Brilliant.
Wednesday, Tuesday. Sorry, Sunderland. Can't wait for Wednesday against Forest Green. You might go up. It's so hard to call the quality. They're going to have 3 teams in League One next season out of Wickham. Healthy budget, good manager, great squad. MK Dons, they'll only get stronger. They'll probably lose trying, but they'll build around it. And we're going to have one of Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday League. That's the one thing I'm happy about. They got both into the playoffs, because we're going to have one of them. One, and we've got Ipswich, Portsmouth, Bolton, Barnsley, Derby County. And then you've got teams like Forest Green, Fleetwood Town, Accrington Stanley, Burton Abbey. And then you've got Exeter coming up from League Two, who are quite a big football club, really.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good League One season, Ben. I'm just bet you're glad that you're still kicking about to be relevant enough to stay
exactly. In Donny Rovers, love it. Ben, your best rock up at Hillsborough, mate. Tough season for you, mate. I am a Porter fan. Up the Fleetwood. But we keep Paddy Lane. For me, I don't think Paddy Lane will be a Fleetwood Town player next year. I think he has played his last game for Fleetwood, which I'm gutted about. That it was Gillingham when he got injured and got sent off. It's not a nice way to go out. But you've also got to remember, I think he's played pretty much the same amount of games that James Hill played for us in 1 year, and he's got more goals, more assists. Paddy Lane's more of a prospect than James Hill is for me. And I think he's got longer. He's gone. I think we can push £2 million for Paddy Lane. I don't think they'll pay it, but don't let him go for any less. Because if we do, Pilly regretted losing Vardy for £1 million. Tell him he's going to go to the Championship and not play every minute. At Fleetwood Town next year, we'll play him every minute. And if we say we'll play it left wing, where not left wing, where he needs to be, and we're going to build a squad around you, mate. As a 21-year-old, I think Paddy Lane owes us a bit of loyalty because he worked in Sainsbury's, he was in non-league. We gave him a contract when not many teams are touching around him. And sometimes I just hope Paddy Lane remembers that and he gives a little bit back. I think he's a top lad, top player, and I think that might come into play and we could see him in. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't blame him if he left because pretty much if I was a player of his quality, I'd want to play at a higher level or a better team that are going to use me correctly, not playing me at left back or centre half. Money does talk. When till I die? Well done on saying up, mate. Well deserved. Thank you very much. Going straight to non-league? No. Well, we're going to end the stream here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. Again, please, like and subscribe. The support on this show today, unbelievable. 85 people still watching. Again, go over to Jake's channel, the Stacey West podcast. Again, doing really well, and there'll be a lot of content coming there in the next couple of months. We've got loads of content coming on this channel. We've got ranking away days, ranking home fans, ranking away fans, best team of the season, best players. We've got playoff videos, so many things to come. So get subscribed down below. It's free to do so. Hit the notification bell. And again, we will have shows next week on the playoffs after both legs. We're going to do it. So this will be the last time we see you before the playoffs. Big week, Jake. And any final words?
No, just looking forward to a really high quality playoff campaign, and all I can say is may the best team win and get promoted, and all the best if that's your club. Well done. If you're stuck down here with the mongrels of League One, then tough luck.
Aye, absolutely. Thank you for everyone who's watched, all the Wednesday fans, all the Sunderland fans, all the Wigan fans. Thank you for all your support all season because we've had nearly 500,000 views this season on the channel. It's blown up. The amount of messages I received about the content, and again, bringing Jake on, I think, enhance the content. We give him a bit of abuse, but he is a good lad. And again, he does bring a bit of knowledge now and again. One good take every 10. So, no, he's a pleasure to have on. And, without you guys, it's good to speak about football. And again, if you could support the channel, carry on doing so. We've gained nearly 3,000 subscribers this year. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Jake, what do you want to finish off on your final few words as you always do?
Up the imps, Ben.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. Until next time, I will see you later. Up the Charlton, up the League One round. I'll see you next week for more, but also more League One content coming this week to your screens. Go on the Cards.